Hello, my name's Corey, I've got a cold, which is the perfect time to talk about immunology. Now, of course, this involves the immune system, B lymphocytes, memory cells, secondary response, etc. But first we have the initial exposure, which can be, well, rather unpleasant. But a less unpleasant form of an initial exposure is what we call, a vaccination. Which is, well, what we do is we inject a dead or inactive form of a pathogen into the body. But how do we make them dead or inactive, you ask? Well, I'll answer that when I walk over here. It's attenuation. That's the process by which we weaken pathogens. Now, there are various methods of doing this. One of them is by culturing these pathogens in different temperatures. Look at them. That one's got a scarf, that one's got sunglasses. You see what I did there? Now, another method of attenuation is adding toxoids, or is it toxins? Ask Corey in a minute. This stimulates a primary response when put into the body. Now, what does this look like? Well, you've got your cell here, and it presents the antigen on its surface. Now, the T helper cells come along, notice this, and release a chemical signal which activates a B lymphocyte, which then undergoes mitosis into plasma cells, which produce the right antibody, which goes along, links onto the antigen on the pathogen, and what happens is the phagocyte comes along to come and engulf it. Now, this is phagocytosis. I shall now explain phagocytosis very quickly forthwith. Okay, so there's a phagocyte and there's a pathogen. The phagocyte engulfs the pathogen, creating a vacuole in it called a phagosome for it to sit in. There are other lysosomes in the phagocyte as well, which go along, put their enzymes in and digest it. Whew! Okay. Now back to the B cells and the plasma cells. Now the plasma cells become memory cells, which make the secondary immune response much, much quicker. Now, how do they do this? Well, when memory cells are met by another pathogen, they undergo mitosis very quickly into plasma cells which have the right antibody and take down the pathogen nice and quickly. But how do vaccinations come into this? Well, we know that vaccinations are basically putting dead or inactive forms of a pathogen into the body. Now, these still have the antigens on them that induce the immune response, but they aren't active enough to make the symptoms of the disease occur. Now, this next bit is really quick, sorry. Now, vaccinations can have side effects, which can be really bad in some cases. Also, testing them can be risky or cruel to animals. It can also interfere with lifespan, if that's what you believe. It can also be more expensive than treating the disease. Oh dear. Now, we also have to consider herd immunity. Now, imagine this is a society and this person's ill. If you immunise these 4 people, then the disease can't spread. Yay! So basically, herd immunity is immunising enough people to cripple the spread of a disease. Sorry about the clunkiness and speed of that last bit. I had it on the wrong setting. So, the next thing to talk about is the production of monoclonal antibodies. Now, what you do is you get a mouse, and you inject that mouse with the cells that you want antibodies for. Now, inside a mouse is a spleen full of B lymphocytes. Now, something else we have to do is in a tissue culture some tumour cells. Now, you get a tumour cell, and you fuse it with one of the B lymphocytes from the spleen we just had. And this creates a beautiful little hybridoma. Now, we put the hybridoma into wells, one cell per well, and we get out the cell that produces the right antibodies and grow it en masse. And then we get out the liquid that was in that growth place, and that is full of beautiful and useful antibodies. But not everyone's happy. What about that poor mouse that had its spleen ripped out? I mean, you know, it helps people, but is it worth it to insult mice and religious people and sort of spend money and induce side effects? I mean, who knows? Thank you for watching. Thank you indeed. Yeah, some of it was a bit clunky and fast, and yeah. So talk to Corey, if you know him, if you want any more answers. Ching!